So in our last class, we started on this, right? Trying to make sure that users can be authenticated. Now, we've been able to get authentication. So if we check our application here now, so you should have some authenticated users. So you have probably three authenticated users. The first person is what? polybyte21@gmail.com. Second person is polybyte2@gmail.com. Third person is polybyte or paul@yahoo.com. Now, these are already three authenticated users that we have at the moment. So now the next thing I want to do is that we want to go ahead and save whatever data that we are getting from these people to where? To Firebase Firestore, which is this place, right? And I think everybody has been able to create their Firestore database in our last class. So what we're not going to be having is that we're not going to be having the email and the user ID of this authenticated user stored to the Firestore. Now, one thing about Firestore is that you can store anything there. You can store username, you can store orders, you can store a lot of things. So that's why you see that on Jumia, I don't know if Jumia uses Firebase, but on Jumia, you can see your order history, right? Maybe if you order from Jumia or on Temu, on Jumia, you can see your order histories, on your order history rather. Now, that your order history, how does it get stored? How is it that you can see whatever it is you are storing? And don't forget that the fact that you can see what you're buying on Jumia and you can see everything, it also means that what they have like an admin dashboard that has an order of everything you've ever ordered. Do you understand it now? Now, how is this possible? It is because they are storing whatever it is you've done or you've bought to where? To a database. Now, that's what Firestore is. That's what this database is all about. Now, what we want to do now is that we want to store this authenticated user to a where? To the database. So that whenever we're not trying to like log in, whenever that particular user is trying to log in, it automatically remembers that, oh, this person is part of our data. And then the authenticated user. Now, how exactly are we getting to that? I told us, first thing that you always have to do is go to your Firebase docs. That's the first thing you need to do. First thing first, go to your Firebase docs. Now, in your Firebase documentation, right, you should see build. But let's leave that. We can just search for something. You can say storing user data. Now, storing user data, you search for it. Now, after searching for it, there's an AI-powered result that will help you search for it. So if you scroll down, just scroll down, you should see what exactly you are looking for. So what we are looking for, okay, good. So this says cloud storage for Firebase. And it says use the Firebase admin SDK to generate. Okay, now this looks like what we are looking for, but still scroll down and see if anything still meets what you are looking for. Okay, I think we can't find it. So let's just go ahead and use this cloud storage for Firebase and let's see what we have. So cloud storage for Firebase, what we are interested in is what? Web. So you can click on the web and then you can try to check for your storage. So what I want to do is I want to upload files. Okay, this is files actually. So this is cloud storage. I'm not interested in storage, I'm interested in database. So let's say storing data on Firestore. Let's use Firestore. All right, good. So now add data to Cloud Firestore. So this is the first thing. So we can click on it. And then good. I think this is what we need. This is exactly what we need. Now, they already told us, I know I told you before you start anything, the first thing you want to do is go ahead and read the documentation. Now, for instance, this is an overview. The overview, there is like an overview of the page. So it's saying before you begin, initialize Cloud Firestore. So to initialize Cloud Firestore, you click on it and it takes you there. And that's how you initialize Cloud Firestore. It's saying that you have to copy this and you have to import get Firestore from where? Firebase Firestore. That's the first thing. And then you have to also set it to DB so that you have to like configure the app to get whatever data it is we are getting from the Firestore. So we are going to copy this, and then we're going to go to our application. And yes, we've done that before, but I'm just going to go ahead and comment it out so that we'll do it again. So now this is what we have to do. So paste it here. Now in this place, now as you can see, we've imported what? Get Firestore from where? Firebase Firestore. But I told you something. The only reason why you will use import statements like this is if you are using a framework or a library. For instance, if you are using React, right, through Next.js, what happens is that you will have to install React, right? You have to install all of these things, this particular framework and library. You have to install it, right? Now, after installing it, they automatically install some, they call it dependencies. Dependencies are like, let's say you're trying to install WhatsApp on your phone, right? Dependencies are the data that allow WhatsApp to work. Do you get it now? So now that's like dependencies. So now, if you install React and Next.js, you are installing some dependencies that allow React and Next.js to work. Now, through those dependencies, you will have to, like, if you are importing anything, you can just import, also install Firebase. Once you install Firebase, you can automatically get this Firestore like this. But we're not doing any of those things, right? Because what we are still trying to learn is to understand how vanilla JavaScript works, rather than using a framework. That's what we're trying to do right now. So now, instead of saying from Firebase Firestore, look at this first link that is here. That's the API link. That's where the resources is. Do you get? So what you have to do is copy the same link that is here. Now this one is saying what? Firebase-app.js, right? And what is for just to initialize your app. Now, this one is for what? For authentication. So that's what? Firebase-auth.js. The same link, just this thing that is changing. Similarly, for your Firestore, it's not what? Firebase-firestore.js. That's it. So what do? We copy this same thing that is here. And then I'm going to go ahead and paste it right here. Now, I'm going to change this from auth to what? Firestore. Firestore. Yeah, so that's it. So automatically now it's automatically getting it from Firestore. Now, we've been able to do the first thing. The second thing is that we need to copy this that is here to initialize Cloud Firestore and get a reference to the service. So we need to initialize that import statement that we've just imported from Firestore. So we have to copy it, and exactly we have to paste it right here, right in our initialization here. So we initialize our app. Okay, I think we've gotten it before, but we initialize our app also paste it here. So automatically we now have access to what? The app authentication and the key. That's the database. Now that's all you have to do first of all, getting started with your what? Cloud Firestore. Now you go back up again. What's the next thing? The next thing is that, oh, you have mobile and web SDKs. Do you really need this? You check it out. So mobile and web is still the same place that you are. So we don't really need this again. The next thing is to what? Set our document. And what do you mean by set your document? Set your document in the sense that you want to be able to upload documents. So what are the 2 documents you want to upload? What do you want to upload? Nobody's following me. Huh? Which work? Which of the work? Exactly, email and password. But I said something about the password in our last class. Not encrypt, hash. So there's, okay, go ahead. I'll say this. Go ahead. No, you're right. You're correct. Go ahead. No, I know that word encrypt. I don't want you to mix it up. There's a difference between encryption and hashing. So encryption is saying, oh, I'm just locking it, but I have the key to open it. Hashing is saying you are locking it, even if you are locking it, you don't have the key to open it. Do you understand? That's hashing. So there's encryption, there's hacking, there's hashing rather. So the thing is that for instance, your bank, what they use to save all your passwords and all of this is hashing. Why? Because if they hash your password, it is very, very hard for them to break it. But you see, encryption, anybody that knows the file pattern or how to break whatever it is you've done can break it. So it is easier to hack encryption. But when it comes to hashing is very, 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 very hard to break. That's why if I can't break it. Because even hashing, if your password is Paul and his password is Paul, they have different hashing. So if you're gonna hash it, it's going to be different. It automatically generates random strings. So PAUS is 4 letter words. Your hashing amount of characters can be up to 16 or 20. You get it now? So it randomly generates all of. So it is hard to break it. So there's a difference between encryption and hashing. But you're saying something. So yes. So we said we're going to store the email. Then one more thing, password. Yes, we're not really storing the password, but the password has already been stored through hashing, through the secure channel. Now we need to store two things. First has to be the user ID, so that you'll be able to get whatever user ID you want to get. Then the second is the email of that particular user. Do you get that? Now those are the two things that we need to get. So now we'll get to set documents. And as you can see, we have a method of setting documents. So they are telling us that we need to import two things in our Firestore. The first is doc. Second thing is set doc. This doc module is used in getting documents from users. This set doc document is now used in adding documents to a Firestore. Now, those are the two modules. So how exactly are we going to do it? We have to come right here, and then we have to set doc and so we say Cloud Firestore. So we say doc, then we have set doc. And those are the two things that we need to do right now. All right. I think network was this network is just anyhow today. Okay. So where do we stop, right? I said we have to like the first thing that you have to do right now is that okay, since you've been able to copy all your modules, import all of your modules the right way, go ahead and what check out the kind of documents that they want you to use in certain documents. So if you just um check out the what's the name? The syntax here. Check out this particular function. What do you think the function is saying to you? What exactly is it saying? Now, what they want you to do is say, okay, you're setting that particular doc with this module. Now, this particular module here is using what setting doc or adding doc. You can say add doc, adding documentation. Now, what they want you to do is what open up a function, right? That sets that particular. Now, if you want to create a function, how do you create your function? So you do the same thing here. So we can go ahead and let me remove this because we did this in our last class. So I'm going to remove it. So now, how exactly do you go ahead and what create your function? So what do you do is that what you say function, right? In another file. Yeah, I explain what modules are. There's already a function in another file, but you're just calling it from that file into another file. That's what a module is. A module is a function from one file into another file. Do you get it now? So now, all I have to do is go ahead and say, oh, since it's a function, just call that same function set doc. And if you want to call a function, you have to put it like this, right? That is how you call a function. Do you get? So I just would, okay, let me go ahead and put it like this, and then I can go ahead and what call my function. So I can put what's the name? Yeah, I can go ahead and call my function like this. Now, but in this function, they're also trying to tell you that okay, yes, they know that you have the set doc function, but they still want you to do something. First of all, you need to still get this document. Now, this particular one is using what getting document of the user. Then in the document of the user, store it to the DB, and then go ahead to what get the documents of that particular user. I'm just trying to explain to you what Firebase is writing. So the fact that I'm able to understand their API means that okay, I've had to like go through codes like manually myself because you cannot really understand how to use API if you don't understand the basics. This is a basic thing that we've been doing since. And what's the basic thing? Function, parameter, objects, methods. Do you get? Been doing this before. So what you have to do is understand these basic things. Then you can go ahead and utilize all of these things that you want to do later by yourself. Now, how did you now go ahead and do it? So we have set doc. Then you can go ahead and start stuff. So what they want you to do is what set the doc. That's the document. So I'm going to set my doc. After setting mine, I'm going to get then the DB, that's the database, store my users, right? And then I'm going to use my user.uid. Now, after doing that, I've been able to what? Get my users, the user ID, and store them to the database. But first of all, I still need to do something. I need to store the user credential in my what? In my database. Now, what are the user credentials? This UID and this email. That's what I need to store now. Do you get? So how do I store it? I can go ahead and say, oh, since it's going to be like an object, I can do it like this, right? So I can do it in two ways. Spread the data, but I'm not going to use the spread method. Let's leave that. I can say, okay, let me even recreate it. UID, right? Equals to what? User data, right? Or user.uid. The same thing that you did here. But since you've done it, just go ahead and what? Call user data. That's what you have since you've done it before. So I'm just going to go ahead and what? Call my user data, and then that will be all for it. So user data. Now, like this, my data has now been what? Stored to a document, the Firestore document on Firebase. Do you get it now? All I have to do is what? Make my user sign up, and then I'm going to see whatever it is my user has done so far. Now that's it. That's basically what it is. But there is a problem here. And what's the problem? Now, this problem, I'm not going to say anything until somebody gets it. There's a problem here. And what do you think the problem is? Sugochi, Mr. David. Looks like everybody is not interested in what we are doing right now. What's the problem here? There's a problem here. There's something that we need to do to make this thing functional. Mr. Pius, anybody online can also respond to this question. There is a reason why this code will not work. Just a slight reason. Why? Why will it not work? Let me give you an hint. Now, normally, we are supposed to, first of all, check if that particular user, if the details are correctly, written, right? So, for instance, if you want to create an account on Facebook now, it has first of all check if the details are written before it authenticates that user. Do you get it now? Now, looking at this, how is that going to affect? How is this going to affect that functionality? I'm giving us the hint that we need. Anybody can answer. You were here when we did it, so that was what I'm also asking you. Yes. You're here. So there's a reason. Why exactly would this particular function affect it? Again, this might be, if nobody talks from now till Friday, this might be the last thing we do for this course. So somebody must say it, must say the answer. Now, this particular code here, right, will break for one reason. Now, the reason is that looking at this particular function, let me go ahead and open up. Let me go live. So now, if you let's go to signup.html. Signup.html, good. Now, if you're on signup.html, if you press your password, your email, your password, then move on to your password, right? Something is supposed to happen. And what's supposed to happen? I can click on agree item and sign up. Now, if I click on sign up, something has to happen. First of all, it has to first of all check if whatever it is you're written here is acceptable. Password and everything, go ahead and sign up. That means two functionalities definitely occur there. But look at what we wrote. What we wrote there is not going to allow such functions to work. So what do we have to add to this code now? Or what do we have to remove from this code to make that particular functionality available or work? You want to try? No, there's already an event this now. Let me first stop the recording. Let me first stop the recording and wait for somebody to say it.